What's going on? It's Maine from the Main Source, and we're back with day 3 of NBA free agency grades. If you haven't checked out my last two videos of day 1, day 2, posting my grades on some teams, I told y'all what I thought of those moves that they made. Um, if you want to check it out, I'll post a link in the description. But here we are on day 3. Wasn't as much action as day 1 and 2, obviously, but we still had some very good moves made across the league. I'm probably going to go over my top 5 moves made today, the most significant in my opinion, and then I think I'll hit a little speed round where I'll go over the smaller mid-level signings of today's free agency. So first up, per usual, we got the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks did what I thought they should do, what I talked about yesterday. They went ahead and signed John Collins to an extension of 5-year, $125 million extension that includes a player option. Since coming in the league, John Collins has steadily improved. He's a 17-7 guy now, which isn't too bad for a 19 overall pick, but he's been constantly improving. He's a 56% field goal shooter, and he's also been improving from the 3-point line. We saw him up his play, even if his numbers weren't greatly increased. I thought he played much more efficiently in the playoffs. So the Hawks going forward, whatever they decide to do with him, I know they kind of opted on not extending him last year, so maybe they don't really see that value. They didn't want to invest so much in him, but I think making this move, it's a very good move to make because moving forward, you're able to match his contract. If they don't want to keep him, they can match him for another player who has a high salary and they can make an exchange. But I think he should stay around. I think he's a great pairing with him and Trey Young, somebody who can get up off the floor really quickly for those alley oops, whatever Trey Young wants to do. This is a great core they got going for it. Trey Young, John Collins, Bogdan, Kevin Herter, Clint Capella, some other guys through the draft. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the Atlanta Hawks an A minus here. I like it. It's the right move to make. A great sign. Next up, we got the Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics made their first move since the Al Horford, Kemba Walker trade. Brad Stevens is doing. I guess he's just bringing back all the guys that he coached. So, and his Cantor's coming back to the Celtics on a 1-year deal. I think it's worth a little under $3 million. We've already seen him in the past with Boston. He averaged around 8 points. He had 7 rebounds. He was a solid depth guy, and I think that's what they have here. Him and Al Horford, kind of shoring up that front court. Maybe a move like this maintains the Boston Celtics cap flexibility going forward. I think this is a solid signing on Brad Stevens. Just a solid front court guy who's been very impactful in his minutes on the floor. So I'm going to go ahead and give the Boston Celtics a B plus on this one. Yep. Man, the Chicago Bulls, I'm telling you, bro, they've been hitting. They signed Tony Bradley to a 2-year deal. I think this is a very under the radar, great signing by the Chicago Bulls. Tony Bradley is a very serviceable backup big man. I think he excelled well with OKC. Watching him with the Philadelphia 76ers, at times I thought he was a better option than Dwight Howard at backup center position. He even started games because I know Doc Rivers wanted to keep uh, Dwight Howard coming off the bench. But in his time where he stepped in for Joel Embiid, he did very well. He's an 8-6 guy. His per 36 shows that he produces even better than that. I think he's a great guy to have behind Vucevic up in Chicago. He's not a shooter. He doesn't shoot the three, but he provides good defense. He's a good low post scorer. Somebody who can have their back to the basket, and get buckets on the block. So I like this. I'm gonna give this one a B plus. I'm teetering on A minus just because how good of a signing I think this is, especially for that depth up there in Chicago. So I'm gonna go B plus, A minus. So the Miami Heat retained some good talent down in South Beach. They re-signed Victor Oladipo to a 1-year deal. This is a win-win in my opinion. Victor Oladipo, if he comes back healthy, he's only there for 1 year. He gets himself a bag next summer. For the Heat, if he plays well, just another guy on top of Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo to help them make that deep playoff push. Obviously, he won't be ready at the start of the season, or maybe even a couple months after that. But he's a guy who's been able to get 20 points on majority of the teams that he played on. So it's gonna be effective pieces, a win-win situation, great value, re-sign in my opinion. I'm gonna give the Miami Heat an A minus on this one. Victor will be the only thing on his end is he has to be healthy, and the Heat can afford time for him to get healthy. They don't need him right away. So great signing by the Heat. So after being bought out by the Oklahoma City Thunder, Kemba Walker signed to the New York Knicks. I don't think the terms of this deal is shared yet, but This is obviously a fantastic move by the New York Knicks. They've been active this offseason. I've been talking about them having hard nosed guys and maybe looking at guys that have a little bit of finesse in their game, guys who can are are absolutely bucket getters. And Kemba Walker is cardiac Kemba. He's a bucket getter. So pairing him with Derrick Rose, pairing him with Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, they have a formidable team. I think they have the opportunity to finish around where they were for sure. I think last season. Um, Maybe they were aided a little bit by great coaching. They're keeping Tom Thibodeau, but certain seasons you go beyond your expectations. But I think with this team, they maintain the position that they were in last season, maybe even go a little bit below it. But the East is starting to look like a pretty formidable conference at this point, in my opinion. But we'll see. I'm going to give the New York Knicks an A on this signing. Obviously, a great guard. He's going to provide them with some great minutes and some great play. Yeah, good job, Knicks. So we're going to go ahead and do our speed round that we were talking about at the beginning of the video. I'm just going to go through these four players, kind of mid-level signings that some teams made that deserve a little bit of credit. So first off, the Spurs get Bryn Forbes back from the Milwaukee Bucks. He was averaging about 10 points. He had 45% shooting for three, which is crazy. And you kind of saw him turn up during the playoffs. They also landed Chandler Hutchison from the Washington Wizards. I'm going to give them a B minus. These are solid pickups, but nothing that's going to make them wildly good next year. Next, we got Sacramento. They signed Terrence Davis to a 2-year deal worth $8 million. He was he was pretty good in his time played over there. He's pretty young, 24 years old. He was averaging about 11 points off the bench. He also was shooting about 37% from the 3-point line, which isn't great, but we can probably see him improve along with those other guards down there in Sacramento. I'm going to give this a B minus as well. Eric Paschall was traded from the Golden State Warriors to the Utah Jazz. I really like Eric Paschall. Great athleticism, a little bit of offensive game and defensive game. Frees up a roster spot for the Golden State Warriors as well. Utah Jazz just also get another four that can defend and can just move around the floor easier and create space for other guys. And then last, I'm gonna give them before we move on, I'm gonna give them a B on that signing. I really like Eric Paschall making that move there to get him. And then lastly, you got the Washington Wizards re-signing Raul Neto. I'm not crazy about Raul Neto, never have been. Think he's really small. He doesn't provide great offense. I think offensively, when it comes to playmaking, I think he's all right. I think he's kind of par. I'm just gonna go ahead and give him a C. Nothing really else to say about that one. So this just dropped. I just saw this just now. The Philadelphia 76ers re-signed Danny Green to a 2-year, $20 million deal. I think they wanted to maintain shooting. Danny Green was obviously a good piece for them, spreading the court along with Seth Curry. They keep him on a relatively pretty expensive deal, 10 million a year. I think that's honestly solid in my opinion. If they don't get where they want to next year, $10 million is a lot in order to match a contract for somebody else. I like Danny Green. Losing him in the playoffs really hurt the Sixers, in my opinion. As somebody with veteran presence who's fairly consistent. I know during the Lakers playoff series he wasn't that consistent, but when he was on the Sixers, I think he had a better level of consistency, much like what we saw when he was on the Toronto Raptors. So I'm going to give the Sixers a B plus for making this signing, keeping them there and making sure they still have shooters. So that'll wrap it up for my day 3 discussion on NBA free agency. There's still a couple good guys floating around, such as Kawhi Leonard, Dennis Schroeder, Kelly Oubre, Josh Hart. Uh, it seems like Dennis Schroeder really screwed himself not taking that $84 million extension. But his best option at this point is hopefully a team offers him a 1-year deal and he can try to re up next summer. The market's kind of dried out once Lonzo Ball, Kemba Walker, the Pelicans got Devontae Graham. It kind of dried up for guards. So unless somebody swoops in and picks him up, um, I don't know what Dennis Schroeder is gonna do. But there's still some other really good guys that can provide some elevated play to some teams. So we'll see. We'll talk about it. We probably won't do a day 4 because I don't think the signings will be that crazy unless Kawhi or Dennis Schroeder or somebody else of that magnitude gets picked up. So we'll probably do like a day 3 and 4 or 3 to 5. So we'll see. But appreciate you guys listening. Keep up the support. Hit the like button, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know what you think I should do a video on. We're working our way on trying to grow this channel a little bit and collaborating with some other people's getting some other content in. We'll be talking football, maybe baseball, probably not. I'm not too crazy about baseball, but we'll try to do some other things. Appreciate the support and have a good day, guys.